So today I'm going to show you another structuring video, but this time I'm going to actually tell you about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So basically I've got the whole track here made up of its composite parts. So for example, we've got the kick here, percussion, stabs, hats, etc, etc. So first thing is, let's just take a listen to how it sounds. So we've got the kick drum, background loop, which is made of toms, pitched down with a bit of delay, but I'll show you that on another video. But for now you can hear what it does in the background. It just kind of adds a bit of gallop and forward motion to the track. Take it out. So hopefully you can hear that in the background. Got the percussion. This kind of squidgy loop that works well with the kick and the background tom loop. So you can hear what that sounds like. Got these stabs. Extra hi-hats, some extra hi-hats. This is like a kind of melodic, not too sure about this section yet, but for now I'll keep it in. And then finally we've got this kind of weird synth loop. So all together. Okay, so now it's time to start moving these into the right place. So first of all, let's get everything out of the way, because obviously we don't want everything playing right from the start. And also it's important at this stage to work out how long the track is going to be. So you can see down here, this is the track length. So most likely you want it to be about 7 minutes. So I'm going to move this end marker down to about here. Let's fit the whole screen on like that. So also another quick tip is about what color you make your blocks on the screen, on the sequencer. So for example, my snare is always this pink one, and then whenever I'm making a track I always know that this pink one is going to be the snare. These ones I make as the hi-hats, this kind of light color. Anything wooden, like clip-clop wooden sounds, or brown obviously like wood. And then I use a dark color for any hi-hats which are a little bit more maybe like ride cymbals or something harder than the original hi-hat that I have here. What else? These are my little sweep reverses, so I'll just play you one of these quickly. And there's this longer one. So when I'm producing, my sweeps and reverses are always red. That means that even if I've got a lot of stuff going on the screen, I know immediately where my sweep sounds are. And likewise to a degree with my effects sounds. So if it's a dark colour, then it's like a heavy impact kind of sound, whereas if it's a lighter colour, it's a more kind of light and floaty kind of atmospheric sort of sound. And again, it just helps if I if I'm making a track and it's all laid out on the sequencer up to here, I know that if I want an impact, I can just grab one of these dark colors and I know immediately that that's going to suit that spot if it's an impact that I'm after. So a little tip there for you. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get the kick drum right from the start. It's pretty obvious that we're going to want that all the way through. So I'm just going to copy and paste this all the way along, right to the end. If I need to do a breakdown at some point, I can literally just delete the ones that I don't want. What else? So this block here is automation on the kick. So basically without, and then wherever you see this purple block, it means that the bass is going to cut out. So you can see this comes on here, cuts the bass out. So move it out of the way. So for example, this little block here will just take out the beat for a brief moment. It's a nice little thing to do at the end of a bar or something, just to introduce the next section. But for now, I'm going to want to have no beats for the start. So I'm going to put this like this. Let's get this out of the way. So basically the track is going to start with the kick drum, but with the bass taken out. You can see here. And I just find that that's really helpful for when you're mixing in a club or when you're DJing. It's really helpful to have at least one section of beats with no bass in the background. It just makes it easier to mix in with the previous or next track. So we have this nice section at the beginning, around 30 seconds I think, with the bass taken out, and then we're going to have the bass kick in all the way through. Also we're going to put this background looping tom section in as well here. And again, most likely that's going to go all the way through the entire track. Take this out, you'll be able to hear how different it sounds. Still sounds pretty heavy, but it's missing that kind of forward drive, the forward gallop. Let's get that block out of the way. So this little block here and this one here is on this glitch device. And basically when it turns on, it shuffles the beat, so you get these nice kind of double beats, etc. Here you can hear. It's one of my effect sounds. So yeah, and basically I like to have these little ones because you get a little double beat at the end of the bar. Although to be honest, it's pretty random actually as to what it does, but it all sounds cool. So that's what those little green ones are. So for now I'm just going to get those out of the way. Let's get all these effect sounds out of the way. Now these sweeps, I'm going to want these all the way through the entire track, right from the start. Basically, those are going to introduce the next bar of music. And they also give you a nice indicator of where something new should be coming in. So we have a sweep, and that means that really something new should be coming in here. So you can use that as a guide, and it kind of tells you where's the right place to put your effects, where's the right place to bring something in, where's the right place to take something out as well. So I'm gonna put in this long atmospheric sample right at the beginning, and that's gonna take me up to this point. So from here to here, I now have a nice background sound that's going to fill in that entire space. So let's see how that sounds. So that's this, and you can hear in the background it's this atmospheric sample. I might even take out the bass toms from here and introduce them a little bit later. So in fact here, this is telling me that something new should be coming in here, so I'm going to make it these bass rolling notes here. And you can see that already just 1 minute in, we've hardly introduced any of these other sounds. And that's because you don't want to just start your track immediately like this. Right from the start. It basically gives you nowhere to go. If you give up everything right from the start, it doesn't give you anywhere to go further in the track. It's far better to build up these blocks gradually. So I'm going to move those out of the way. So like I said, with these samples, I know that this dark blue one, this dark grey one are going to be the impact samples, so I'm going to put one of these over here, so that when the atmospheric finishes, when the sweeps up, and when these background bass toms kick in, you'll have this nice impact sound. No need to have any kind of impact sound here because this atmospheric is still filling up the space. But we definitely want one here to introduce this new part of the bass. So that's, by putting this in here, it's nicely introduced this next section of the track. So the next thing to do will be to introduce the hi-hat, so I'm going to put this in here. Why am I putting this here? Because this sweep tells me that something new needs to come in here. So this is the logical place to start the hi-hats. And again, most likely those are going to be going all the way through from now on, so let's just copy and paste those all the way across. Like I said before, at any point if I need to do a breakdown, I can just literally just delete the blocks that I don't want. Just move these out of the way again. Again, this sweep tells me that something new needs to come in here. I've got this little bit where the bass is taken out from the kick drum, so this is the perfect place to then introduce the snare here. So hopefully hopefully you can start to hear that the track is starting to take form. I'm going to put these snares all the way across as well. Let's get these out of the way for now. So the next important thing that I need to introduce is this squidgy background loop. So I'm actually going to just whack it in here. And again, I hope that you can hear that that's given the track real forward momentum, real forward drive. So again, that's going to go all the way across. And now this is getting to the main bulk of the track, 3 minutes in. So really we want to start to introduce some of these other elements pretty soon. So I'm going to put these weird synth perk loop in the background. These extra perks and melodics, etc., I think they can come a bit later. I'm going to copy this across. Got these nice scream stabs coming in. Again, this sweep is telling me something new needs to come in. So it's coming up to 4 minutes and there's been no break in the beat so far, so I think this here is a logical place to do a breakdown of some sort. So I'm going to take those out, leave these scream stabs in. This space here we can fill up with sounds, etc. But again, I'm going to do those probably last. And then once again we want to have no bass there, we want all these percussions to come in later, so let's see how that sounds. And again, let's just move these out of the way. Have it so this time it kicks in with the snare first instead of the hi-hat first. A quick tip about breakdowns as well and what to do after the breakdown. So I think really there's two options. So one option is that after the breakdown you literally build the track up again from all its composite parts. So that would be the process that I'm doing here, so these would all come later. So for example, we'd have the kick and the bass loop, all these other things going on. And then when it kicks in, you literally have the snare, and then that leads into the hi-hat, which then leads into more percussion later on. Or option 2 is you have literally everything kick in after the breakdown. So here we'd have the hi-hat, these wood clip clop blocks. I haven't used those yet actually, let's keep those. So extra hi-hats, all this extra hi-hats here as well. So basically you get a different type of effect after the breakdown. Personally, I quite like to build it back up again, but it depends per track. Sometimes it sounds better if everything just kicks in one go. Sometimes it sounds better if you build it up. So let's see how this sounds. Probably a bit manic, but let's see. So yeah, so that's option 2. Like I said, I prefer the first one where you kind of build it all up again. So let's see how that sounds. Let's get these blocks out the way. Put the scream stab all the way across. So again, the sweep is telling me bring something new in. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to copy that across for at least 2 bars. So we're actually almost, well, over 6 minutes into the track already, and I haven't actually had the need to introduce these new hi-hats or this melodic section, so it's possible that I don't even need those at all. So I'm gonna leave that for now. This is most of the structure of the track is there now, pretty much. We're almost, what's that? That's already 7 minutes. So this is 7.5 minutes. That's quite long for a track. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to lay out some of these effect sounds to fill all of these spaces between the bars and between all the different elements. So like I said, to a degree, obviously I know what these sounds are. I haven't actually checked them since opening the file, but I know, for example, the dark ones are blue. I know the light ones are more sort of floaty atmospherics, so I don't even necessarily need to think about where to put them. It should make sense. So let's have a look. Start this right from the beginning. So I know I'm going to want something to come in here after the sweep where the hi-hat comes in, so I'm going to just whack this yellow one here. I know that this pink sample, pink purple sample is one of my favourites. I know what that is, so that's going to go here where the snare kicks in. Most likely we're going to have this atmospheric right at the end somewhere as well, so I'm going to put that down the end. I'm not going to put any other sounds in here because it just sounds quite atmospheric as it is already. There's no need to put extra sounds in. So we now have the sweep up into some kind of atmospheric sound. It's probably a bit loud, but I'll sort that out later. Again, at this stage, probably no need to put any other sounds in here. Maybe here actually. Let's have a look what we've got to say. Let's take one of these, put that there. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, I'm going to sort out the volume of that now. So you can hear as this sound finishes, this rise takes over, and then again we need something here, so I know this dark blue one is going to be a good impact sound, so let's see how that is. put a lot of delay on, hopefully you can still hear that in the background. So because I put a lot of delay on them, even though the sound starts here, it kind of finishes here. So you can just hear the tail end of that effect sound. So you can still just about hear it. So actually this sound is more like this long. Got the sweep up, my favourite sample. Snare kicks in. Maybe that snare's a little bit too loud. Shouldn't be there, let's just move that out so I put that there. Now that would be a good place for one of these little double beats, so I'm going to grab this. Hopefully hear a little double beat. There we go. Take out the kick here. So basically in this breakdown there's going to be quite a big gap here where there's not that many sounds, so I'm actually just going to reintroduce this long atmospheric from the beginning and just whack that into this space here. And then you can see that where the snare kicks in and where the bass kicks back in you can see that this will have finished. So this should fill up this space nicely. I'll probably find a cool dark vocal sample to put in here as well at some point. I haven't got one of those at the moment necessarily, so I'll put that in later. But for now, this section should sound more interesting and full now that I've added this atmospheric sample. I can still put these other samples in here as well in this breakdown, why not? Maybe the wood clip sounds would sound good here, I don't know, let's have a look. See, I'll think about, put those in later. So in fact, it doesn't even look like I need to put these melodics in at all. So usually I'm pretty reckless with stuff. If I don't like it, then it just gets deleted. Fuck it. Just delete that out of there. So from here, really, it's this very last section of the track now, so it's just a matter of doing the reverse of what we've done here, to start to take out the elements one by one until all you're left with is the kick, bass and possibly a hi-hat. So like this. So I'm going to take pretty much everything out actually here. So now this green stab is gone. Like I said, I could put this in here as well. Probably will, but I might find another sample instead. Don't necessarily want it 3 times in one track. Plus also it does start quite quickly, so I'm just going to take off, do a bit of an edit on it. Let's have a look. So this I'm just going to fade in instead. Now it won't start so abruptly. I'm going to take this out sooner actually, that weird synth sound. And there we go. I mean, I'd say that's pretty much there. Obviously I need to get all the levels right, etc, but I think pretty much that's the entire track. So let's have one last listen and then that's it for today. Just noticed I haven't really used this orange one very much, so I'm just going to sort of put it elsewhere where I think it would work. And there we go. So I really hope you all found that helpful and interesting. I'll be making more videos really soon, so stay tuned, and thanks a lot for your support.